Good evening to everybody. I will try to stick to my time and see in your faces that you are already looking forward to the next session of the conference in the bar. So I'm going to talk about the activities that are done in the Planetary Defense Office of ESA related to imminent impactors. I just joined this team of 5 astronomers 9 months ago. And I have been interested in meteors already for several years, and being that there has been 2 impactors in the last 9 months, so since I joined, my topic had to be about this. And also I want to acknowledge that I realized that the decision that CIS is moderating is called predicting impacts. So we are in really exciting times. I mean, I cannot imagine that 20 years ago that we are able to predict when it's going to be an impact. I mean, like 20 years ago, we are all amazed that Jeremy and others, they were predicting when we are going to see the next meteor outburst. And now we are going to be able to predict when is the next fireball that we are going to see. And if you are lucky and you are not sick or sleeping, you may even be able to see it. So just here, this picture is, you're aware that we are continuously interacting with interplanetary matter, and we do with small particles. We call them meteors, and we are here because we like observing and studying meteors. But there is also the risk, because it's a risk of asteroid impacting, of objects larger than meteoroids that are impacting. And just to give a brief introduction, what is the current status, what we have in this nice graphic. You have from left to right what is in the top, the diameter that we are talking, from 1 meter to 1 kilometer or larger. How often they are hitting the Earth. So I guess this was updated in 2023. So according to the latest models, for the question you made, Felix, I guess that for 1 meter, we are around every 2 weeks. And then you can see the meters is more likely in the decade. And then we go already for larger times. This is the impact energy related always to megatons and atomic bombs. And then this is what we know about these objects. Of course, the larger, the easier are to spot, the easier are to track. So we know almost all of them, 95%, depending on the model. There are a few left that are hidden in nasty resonances, or they're difficult to observe because they are more time closer to the sun, or they are difficult to spot. If you go already to the 300 to 1 kilometer size range, we are doing pretty well, 90%, but there is still some already at 10% that can be a bit worryful, because these objects they can be really dangerous. When you go lower, you can get to the 10 to 30 meters, or even smaller, that are the ones that we are talking about of the imminent impactors, because as you see here, 30 to 30 meters, they happen like in the range of a few decades. So it's not common, not the ones that we are talking today. Almost none of them have been found. We are still looking for them. It's because they are so small that we only see them when they are coming close to us. And it happens that sometimes in this first time that we are looking for them and we observe them is the moment that they come and impact us. It's not very common, but it's happening. So what is done by the European Space Agency is done by the Planetary Defense Office, that has these 3 pillars. The one that is about the detection, the observation. The other one that is related to the assessment. Based on these observations and many others, it determines the orbit and calculates what is going to happen, if it's safe or it may impact. And then the mitigation pillar that tries to understand how are the asteroids behaving in the atmosphere, what can be done to mitigate the effects of a potential impact. So as I said, I'm part of the observers group. So we have this telescope network, because most of the work is done by surveys in American soil, Hawaii, and US, continental US. And I said most of them, but not all of them, as Christian already told us, that there are some others that contribute, but most is done there. So if we want to follow up these objects and observe them quickly, we have a network of telescopes that are located westward, so that we can observe them a few hours after when they have discovered. Sometimes it's not enough especially for the imminent impactors, objects that are small, so we only detect them when they are really, really close. But for most of them, we focus on every size of the asteroid. We do the follow-up with this network. We have some telescopes, but that are owned by us, others that we have full control of them, so they are fully available by us, and others they have to be called to do this special observation or things like that. So here you have an idea on how we get the observing time. And this is the full network that we have with telescopes in the 5 continents. And the network that we also use for observing imminent impactors. When we have the alert that something is coming very fast, we need to have telescopes in all longitudes and in all latitudes, so to be sure that we can follow them up. So one of the works that is done is the Planetary Defense Office is monitor the likelihood of any possible impact in the next 100 years. That is done by ages, and it provides a risk list that you can check every day, and it tells you what are the objects, when they were discovered, and what is the risk that they pose to the impact risks that they pose. But that works only with asteroids that we know well enough the orbit. So we know them enough, so they get designated. We are fully sure that they are asteroids. However, there is this NEO confirmation page that are what we call candidates. They are likely asteroids, but not always. Sometimes they are fake objects or they are artificial objects. And those are so close and so poorly observed, sometimes a few hours or a few positions, that there is a different technique that is needed, different from the usual orbit determination, and is what is done with this ESA's MERCAT tool. And the risk that there are imminent impactors and we need to do this is real, because since 2008, there has been 7 impacting asteroids discovered, and they were discovered between 2 and 22 hours before the impact. So we need to react really fast. It's something that it happens in real time. The count started, as I said, in 2008, then it comes 2014 AA, and then in the last 5 years, there has been a total of 5. So we are getting better. We as humanity, I mean, we are really, this is becoming not a routine, but we are really in the good pace, so we can do it. And of course, when we get LSST, we are getting much closer. These are here the objects that were observed since the MERCAT tool is in place. So they were observed really very close to the impact time. But if you were connected to this tool, this is what you could have access. There are impacts up to 30 days in advance, and you also get the S-score, so not only if it's an NEO, but also if it's an impactor or interstellar object, potential inner-Earth object. And there is the dashboard that is shown here, and for the moment is only internal, but you can access to the email with the alert that you can get by subscription. And currently we are working within the dashboard also that you could upload custom tracklets, so something that you have just detected is not even in the NEOCP. And as Christian was saying, he uploads it to Find Orb Online, something like that, so you can get systematic ranging on that, and also working on an API to have these results in a more automatic way. So this is what you could get in the email, and I say here that you can, so I don't forget that you can subscribe to this mailing list, sending an email. So you could get this a series of a lot of data, but basically summarizing a series of plot. The dashboard that tells you what are the chances of it being an impactor, when is the impact foreseen, and if it's an impactor, what is the expected or the average size if it's an impact. Also, there is a chance, of course, here that 50% that this is not an impactor, and then it's likely a larger NEO. In this case, it was the same, but otherwise it's usually a larger NEO, and other different possibilities that could be. Sometimes there is not much of a difference of an NEO or an other object, depending on the part of the orbit. Here you get a bit more information, a better insight on what the systematic ranging has done and the different possibilities of orbits that are possible for the observations that we have. So you can compare if it could be a geocentric object, and if it falls here exactly in where all the satellites is more likely that, or the satellites are, is more likely that that it's a satellite. Also, you can compare with different types of orbits, and if it's maybe even a main belter or one of the Hungaria or Fokker member, but in disguise looking like an NEO. And I get more a bit on the activities in particular that we do, apart from this Mercat mailing list, which you would have received the alert from these two impactors that we have discussed today. In December 2022, there was a network by one of the activities funded by the European Union and entrusted to the agency that has these 4 seasons that you can see here on how to increase the networking of all the actors that are involved, NEO astronomers, Meteor community, other different communities of this ultrasound, and as I hear fireball networks, I guess in this there was some representation here. It was Circo, I guess also Mike joined online. So if you're interested, there was in these 2 conferences, all the short papers are available, and you can have a look onto the results. And here I can tell you a bit more on what is our work every day. So we receive alerts from the system almost daily, and we know that the response is essential. So the first thing is we have to evaluate the alert, analyze the observations, see if they are real or maybe it's a fake object. If it's unlikely, if that a 20-centimeter telescope discover a magnitude 23 object, things like that. And then also if we are suitable to give a good response. I mean, if the object is already lost, or if we have no telescope that is available at this time, or things like that. And then, great, thanks. And then when, of course, as we have many, we say, okay, above currently is when there is already 1% of chance of impact. This is the threshold. We want to be awakened in the case we are sleeping or things like that. So currently we are working on a warning system. So we get a call in our phone. So we are ready to start all the things that are not automatic. We have already made a plan that we tweak or we tune for every case with the observational strategy to get the most of all the observations. So to try to observe with as many telescopes as possible for different positions, so we get more parallax or different properties. We have also to communicate to the different communities and also to our internal teams. And then we process on the fly, I mean, as soon as possible, all the observations, we report them, and we are changing the observation according to what is reported by others. So if there is already many people observing the object from Europe, we try to use the telescopes in South Africa or South America, or something like that. And also, in case we think that is possible, we trigger potential characterization observations that are also relevant for science and in case of, well, to understand how are the impacts for our mitigation pillar. And I want to comment this impact. I was already mentioned that I have just joined the team when there was this impact by 2022 WGA1, but this was my 2nd week, so I barely could do anything just to observe the show. And this one, it was a Sunday evening, and at around 10 p.m. we got a warning that there were already 7 observations, 1 hour length, and it was clear that it was an impact. You can see here 100% of chances of having an impact in around 5 hours. Something small, 1 meter, so no need to call to call our boss because it was not going to create a big mess anywhere. So we just put a message. If you're awake, you know that this is going to happen. And then we started doing the observations to confirm that it was going to be an impact and to narrow down where it's going to happen. So we tried to do as many telescopes from different places, and also we take good care of the timing of our observations, trying to get it to better of a tenth of a second, something's even better. So we have good timing to ensure many observations that are sent to the MPC, but the time is not so good sometimes. We also provide scientific details to the NEO and Meteor communities. So as soon as I know about it, I got in charge of the Meteor community. So I wrote in Skype to Francois and to Jeremy, also to Carantier and to the IMO in the French part. I also contacted some people in the UK, so they were in both sides, so they were aware of what was going on and if they can put cameras or something extra to what they already have. And well, and also we do an exercise of lessons learned after each of these events to learn and to get more from them. And this is indeed part of what is this talk about, is also to communicate what we do, but also to get some feedback from you. So just be aware for the next one. It could be tonight. I guess Christian said next week. So it's full moon. So I guess today we are safe and we can take a beer and we are not going to be bothered. Hope so. Otherwise, I mean, the time is between the alert and the impact is very short. So be sure that you have everything ready. I mean, Felix, I know that he has 2 cameras already packed. I don't know if in the car, but already related 2 cameras. So he can put 2 stations wherever he needs to move and you can take the images. And we are working on different areas, improving our techniques and testing new different hardware and software. Also, we're working on providing more data, especially to the variable community, so you can get some information on the trajectory. Although it's, I mean, quite some people took already pictures, so it was enough that it was, but we can try and get better, so you know exactly how is it going to look and things like that. And also, we are collecting inputs. If you think that, well, what else could be needed from the asteroid observers in order to have better information for the meteor and meteorite communities. We already did somehow this exercise at the ACM, so some people already tell us that it's relevant to observe in different colors, to observe with different techniques. Of course, always they want us to observe the lowest possible and when the asteroid is the closest, so we get more and more information. But yeah, so this is my site. I will be here collecting also your feedback and I would be happy to talk to you afterwards. And with this, I finish the talk, I guess, on time. So thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Paco. Very interesting and promising for the future. Are there any questions from the audience? François, I'll give the mic to you.
Just a remark about observation, it's important to not only have astrometric observation for orbit, but also photometrical observation. Because with photometry, you can have an idea of the shape of the asteroid, and it's very important for.
I sent to Rian like a week ago some light curve that we have with the CMOS. And I guess that Nick is already working on that. So we are also, sometimes we have many observations and we are still catching up. But yeah, we know that that is relevant. We were not that much aware before. And sometimes we stop observing when we have a lot of data about it. But yeah, there is always some people that want more data. So yeah, thank you. We will take care of the next ones.
You talked about the Mercat asteroid guide with an address, mail address that we can have alerts. Is it only for scientists, or is it for everyone that want to be aware of the warning that we can have about near impactor?
I guess the subscription is somehow moderated, but I don't know if there is any specific request. I don't know if maybe Detlef knows from his old times if there was any restriction. I would say that okay. So far. Exactly. So I would say, I mean, and so far as I know, there is no, I mean, there is a moderation, it's not automatic, but so far I haven't heard of anyone that has been not given access.
Is there any other questions from the audience? Stan?
There's an online question from Regina. Regina, can you switch on your microphone?